All right, everybody, we're here today with Mike DeLay from Real Voice LA. We're going to get into it and talk about it. So, the big question is this: how do voiceover artists like us who are looking to take our careers to the next level, but don't buy into the claims of needing expensive equipment and demos, start bringing in new clients? How do you follow a clear path to changing your voiceover side hustle into your full-time job and stick it to those that said you couldn't? Those are the questions, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Earl Hall, and welcome to In the with Earl Hall, where we know how to grind and don't quit. All right, everyone, welcome into the second edition of In the Booth with Earl Hall. In the Booth with Earl Hall, and I didn't turn my cell phone off again, so you got that ding. But we are here with Mike DeLay, out in LA at Real Voice LA. Mike, welcome onto the program. I think we're going to have some fun today.
Thanks, Earl.
Man, well, you got to give us a little bit of the behind the scenes as far as what is it that you guys do at Real Voice LA? Give us a little synopsis of that.
Do a little bit of everything voiceover related. First of all, I think I should say we're brand new. I think we're in like week 10 of business.
Awesome.
But we're cruising along, which is great. So we are offering classes. Like we have a 6-week long intensive class that we do. We're also offering different workshops. We have an animation workshop, a gaming workshop we just did last night, a couple different commercial shops. And then we're also, first and foremost, we're a recording studio.
Okay.
We do ISDN, Source Connect. We've done a couple of ADR sessions. We've done a few sessions for some brands for, like we did an Aveeno spot for the Montreal and Toronto markets.
Okay.
We've done a couple of other things for a couple banks and things like that, but we're pretty new. So we're just sort of taking things as they come. But yeah, that's a little bit about what we do here.
Well, I mean, just being 10 weeks in, you've obviously done a lot. So there's been a lot going on with that, even getting the clients like Aveeno and things of that nature. But keying in on what you do specifically with voice actors is one of the things that I'm going to get into here. But I think I would be wrong if I didn't just mention the fact that, how we met was on Instagram. I think we've been following each other on Instagram for like a minute here.
Yeah.
And, so we're liking each other's stuff, we're commenting and stuff like that. And both of us had the same trepidation as far as reaching out to,
For sure.
it's like and you can talk about this, I'm sure, as well as I can, the air or the nature of the voiceover industry. They make it sound like it's a real big friendly community. Everybody's nice and friendly. But when it comes down to actually collaborating to try and work together, no one wants to do that. And so
Yeah.
both of us were like, I don't even know if I should reach out. And then I finally grew a pair and just reached out to you and was pleasantly surprised.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've had the same. Well, first of all, yes, Instagram has been great for us over the last couple months.
Mhm.
We have 6 people in a class on Saturday, and 4 of them are from people I met on Instagram, which is nuts to me. But it's great for somebody who dumped all their money into recording gear and won't have a marketing budget for 6 months. Uh, it's great. I use it for what I do,
Instagram, yeah.
but I also now have a teacher who's going to teach our promo workshop for us, who has a huge resume with like NCAA and CBS and all
Wow.
these people, and that's an Instagram relationship. So yeah, it's crazy how, like you said, like people feel like, oh, we all help each other, but then there's isolation too. I think we all get
Yeah.
stuck in our little booths and our little closets, and
Yeah.
we think that we're trying to make more money, and sometimes it's not making money, so it feels like a competition. But at the same time, it's not. I mean, I think I told you I come from the music side of things in LA,
Yeah.
where everything seems so cutthroat. When in reality, like, I don't play the
Wow.
music you play. You don't have the voice I have.
Yeah.
So what? Like, you're going to get different clients than me just because you're you. So that's it doesn't really help each other to try to hurt each other.
There's always, it seems to be this less than mentality. Like the
Yeah.
world is so small. Like I've got to protect my little corner or whatever. And when you do that and make yourself isolated from everything or everyone else, I think it's a bad look,
Oh
even
yeah.
just on the industry at large. I try and just give tons and tons and tons of information away just so
Yeah.
that I can help people be successful. And I believe that just builds the universe will pay me back in some way, shape, or form as we move on and go on. But when you try and hoard, I think
Yeah.
you hurt yourself. Because I was telling a friend of mine, Cyrus Webb, he's actually in LA right now. He went out to LA. He was invited out there to cover the finale for Scandal.
Oh, cool.
So, and he's interviewing like a bunch of folks today all over LA. They're coming to him. But with being in LA, you're like in the lion's den because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
where everything for voiceover,
Yeah.
you
I mean,
know.
I've probably lost my mind opening a new studio, but yeah, I don't know. It seemed, and like what you were saying with like giving away stuff, like in our like 5 week, 6 week long class, I spend a week one Saturdays talking to everybody about home recording, and I've had engineer friends say, "Why would you teach them about how to record at home? You opened a studio, don't you want them to come back to you or whatever?" But I find that setting them up for failure doesn't really help anybody. Like
Exactly.
they're gonna leave this 5 week class and then realize, oh damn, I got to record at home because I don't have an A-list agent yet.
Yeah,
It doesn't really help me. Like I sent them out into the world not knowing how to do voiceover. That doesn't really look well on the business.
exactly. And they're going to
Yeah.
come back to you for stuff anyway. Even though you teach them, they're still going to come back and take a course on this or do that. Or it's still going to happen.
Well, and my hope is that they don't come back to me for a $15 audition. They come back to me when they have a $1,500 job.
That's it.
That's but that's the thing. If I send them out and they know how to record at home and they know how to do that, then that's better for everybody than it is for them to just keep coming back and I nickel and dime everybody for $15 at a pop
Right.
for auditions. It doesn't really help anybody. It takes time out of it. If you've ever been to LA, traffic is nuts. So taking 2 hours out of your day to do an 8-minute audition doesn't really help anybody. Like, let's get you up to speed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, with the people that you train there in LA, tell us the main course that you teach. There may be one or three, but what is the main thing that you focus in on, in particularly with coaching, besides the audio production stuff?
So we have the main thing that kind of got us started. I work with a couple. I don't do any teaching. Sorry, I'm kind of like all over the place. I partnered with a bunch of different instructors who have big resumes inside of the voiceover community.
Gotcha.
Main thing that kind of got us going was I worked with Katie Ziner, who was the booth director at SBV for about 8 years.
Okay.
We've been working together since 2012, doing demos. She taught classes. She's an actor and director and teaches classes, and I was an audio guy. And through mutual friends, we somehow we're both. I didn't know how to act or direct, so I
Okay.
was doing demos, but they were terrible.
Okay.
She knew how to act and direct, but didn't know how to audio, so she didn't know where to send her students. So that was sort of what spawned this coming to life. We worked with a couple different acting studios throughout the years,
Mm-hmm.
and it just kind of came to the point to where let's try to make this a real thing. So that's her class. The 5 week intensive that we do is the main thing that we do.
Okay.
That's the main goal, is to hopefully get people into that. We kind of walk everybody through. It's a beginner class for sure.
Okay.
It's walking people through mic technique, through home recording,
Okay.
through finding your characters inside of commercial copy,
Okay.
and then working towards a demo. Gathering copy that works for you, and getting yourself ready for a demo and ready to go out into the world of voiceover.
Is it kind of daunting, or was there there's other studios that are out there that kind of obviously do similar things to what it is that you do.
Yeah.
There's a studio that rhymes with Bledge that kind of does some of those same things. Do you
Yeah.
see them as, was that an inspiration for you to do what it is that you're doing because of some of the things you see other folks doing, and you may think you can do it better or different?
Somewhat. We were working with an acting studio called AK Studios on Hollywood Boulevard, which is no
Mhm.
longer there. Things were going well with classes, but we were never really able to dive into the audio side of things. We were producing demos there, but we had a booth, but it just wasn't ideal situation. It was above Hollywood Boulevard,
Oh,
sirens all the time. There'd be like a motorcycle gang running down, and they shut down the boulevard to do some filming. It was a mess. That at the end of that, I actually went to a job interview at another place, which these guys are awesome. They're called Studio Awesome.
Oh,
It's a new studio. They're gorgeous. I went to a job interview there, and I didn't get the job, but it was sort of this kick in the ass that I needed. Uh,
hmm,
I was like, well, we're already doing all of this. I don't have a physical location, but they're basically a high end ISDN studio. I'm not going to compete with them. Uh, I did take a lot of notes, and I have their exact same audio chain.
yeah.
Uh, so I made sure that I took notes on what they were using to record, and we have the exact same chain as they do. And I think they're like 3 or 4 times as much an hour as we are. But
Okay.
they're awesome. They're partners with another place in town called Patches, which has
Okay.
been here for like 20 years, I believe. And they are that New York and Chicago talent agency go to, like
Okay.
big budget stuff. If you've seen a commercial on television, you've heard audio recorded at these two places,
Wow.
guaranteed. But
Okay.
that was inspiration to me. It wasn't like I knew I couldn't compete with them. There's no way. Um, but I thought that we offered something in the way of classes that they don't offer. And I thought by doing classes and coming from the artist side of things,
Yeah.
we could come in at a more approachable price point for recording and hopefully be able to transition some actors into, paying studio professionals as well.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of students that are in and around LA, and it's like I talked to one of them. You need to go into Real Voice LA. Just go in there. You need to go in
Yeah.
and see what's going on, and see what you can tap into. Because I think sometimes, I mean, the courses that I teach are online. Even
Yeah.
though I do have people come into my studio and we record, the bulk of what I do is online, and sometimes that can be a little difficult. But
Yeah.
one of the things that I wanted to ask you, and I struggle with this. Probably not as much as I'm letting on that I struggle with it, but when you get a new student that comes in, or you've got a voice actor that comes in, how do you tell them that they sound like crap and that you should look for something else to do? This is not your thing, Okay, and as a coach, as someone that is responsible for teaching and molding and guiding, at some point it has to come where you just got to say, you know what, don't come to the next class, don't send in another check, don't, this is not for you. And I've told people, look, if this is your dream, even if I tell you you ain't got it, if it's your dream, you need to keep going after it. But
Oh
how,
yeah.
how do you approach something like that hot seat moment?
I don't know. I mean, we've been lucky enough so far that we haven't really come across that too much. However, there is a bit of a problem. Everybody wants a demo.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
We
yeah,
discussed this on the phone.
yeah.
Everybody wants to jump to the end. The demo is your like jumping off point before you get work or an agent or both.
Hmm.
So that demo needs to be as good as possible. So you're most people are trying to like, I want a demo, but we need to go back. Like, do you have any experience? Are you able to address copy? Are you able to
Yeah.
find your different niches inside
Hmm.
your own voice? And you got to take some classes. Usually with classes, when you mention classes, instantly there's an attrition rate.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like,
absolutely.
what do you mean I got to take a class? That's crazy. Or
I have a voice. My mom told me I should be doing this, and
exactly.
what do I need a class for?
But I don't mind mentioning. I've actually started just yesterday. I started compiling a list of other classes around town
Hmm.
and coaches online, including yourself,
Hmm.
uh, that people can go to. They don't have to take a class with me. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying I need more of your money. I'm saying go before you spend this chunk of money to get a demo.
Hmm.
Let's see if this is just something you really want to do. How bad do you want it? Because like you said, if it is your dream,
Right.
nothing can stop you.
Exactly.
But if it's just some passing like thing that's happening, let's weed these people out. Not that I'm trying to weed people out or discourage anybody, but I would rather
Yeah.
them get the training and find out this isn't what they want to do than say, "Oh, Real Voice LA took $800 from me. Like they're no good." Like
Exactly.
that's not what we want.
Right. And I think it's probably one of the reasons my patience level is really very low.
Yeah.
with dealing with things. And so I've never concentrated on the voiceover coaching aspect of how to do voiceover. I
Yeah.
think it would be like trying to herd cats. But,
Yeah.
but I can, if you got it, I can show you how to build it.
Yeah.
And that's like my niche is showing you got to take this thing. This is a business, and it's something that's wrong in a lot of voice actors that I see. It's almost like they don't recognize this as a business that you're
Yeah.
trying to build. And I'm like, what are you doing? You know, this is
Yeah.
definitely a business.
But I think that goes with anything inside of the arts.
Mm,
Uh, I mean, coming up as a musician and working in I went to audio engineering school at Musicians Institute,
okay.
and I think I maybe mentioned you on the phone, like the 3 or 4 guys that I knew who meant that to be there, like they meant business.
Hmm.
Those are the only 3 or 4 guys that I was in school with who are still doing audio 12 years later. Like
Wow.
that you kind of know that going in, and
Yeah.
as a musician, like a lot of people, they want to write songs and they want to do whatever, but they don't look at it as a business. They don't start looking at when you mention the fact that, hey, you probably should look at PR firms to push your record out. They're like, what are you talking about? Like, that's nuts. No, that's nobody's going to write about you unless it comes from a PR firm. That's just how things go today in the music world.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing with voiceover. Like you're saying, like people don't look at it as a business, but it should be.
It's exactly what it is. I mean, my mantra, one of the mantras I have besides grind and don't quit, is your number one job as a VO is to get clients.
Yeah.
That is your number one job as a VO. If you're not doing that, I don't care how much you tweak your mic and your chain and your DAW. I don't care how much you do that. You can waste time doing that. And some people
Yeah.
think that's like work. That's not work. You,
Yeah.
you need to go out and get the client. Sure, you got to get it all set up right. But come on, how many more times are you going to change the angle of your mic? And,
Yeah. And that
with what
stuff
you got to
kind of
do.
doesn't matter anyway if you have a good mic.
Exactly.
It does, but to a minor degree, like not as much importance as people put on it. Especially again coming from like the engineer side, like we
Yeah.
love to throw stupid stuff out, and I swear half the people do it to like protect their job. Like, come on, man, it's recording. Set up a mic to talk into it.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's learning to navigate the business. Like when I opened this voiceover studio 2.5 months ago, I never in a million years thought I was going to have to be sending cold emails out to people, but now I do it every morning
There you go.
because I need to grow business. I need corporate business to keep the rent going so that I can
Exactly.
continue to offer cheap workshops.
It's like this shit ain't cheap.
No, as you know, you have a commercial space as well.
Yeah, this ain't cheap doing this. I mean, it's yeah, it's
Yeah.
the money there. So if you're not bringing in the business, you're just going to go out of business.
Yeah.
With that, I was going to ask you too, because with the setup that you have, and you mentioned ISDN, you mentioned Source Connect, and things of that nature, is from what you see in LA, because I think what happens in LA happens through the rest of the country like a year later. Do you see like ISDN being a big player next year or in the next 5 years, or is Source Connect trying to take that spot over? What is the chitter chatter that goes on about ISDN and Source Connect over on the West Coast?
Oddly enough, I've never even done an ISDN session, so
Okay.
they've all Source Connect, which is weird.
Wow.
Call you and ask you about can you do ISDN, and those same clients we end up using Source Connect. So I think
Why is that? Back up a minute. Why is that, or how does that transpire?
that's a good question. I've never driven that conversation in that direction. It's just always
Okay.
been that way. So and being a new studio, I don't totally have a ton of experiences to really draw.
Got you.
Why?
Got
Yeah,
you.
I'm not sure. I mean, I guess maybe I can say so full disclosure, I don't have an actual ISDN line. I have IPDTL.
IPD. Okay, I've heard of that too.
IPDTL gives you an ISDN line, so it's ISDN. It's an automated ISDN bridge over internet.
Okay.
So I have a dedicated ISDN line. ISDN codecs can call me. I can call ISDN codecs, and it's an ISDN connection, but it's all over the internet. It's sort of this like dirty little secret inside of so you don't really want to tell an ad agency that
I
you
got
have.
you. I got
They'll
you.
be like, well, we need an I, because they don't understand what it is, because it's kind of a new thing.
Mhm.
But it is an ISDN connection. When I first opened the studio, I tried to get an ISDN.
I
It took
think
me
they're expensive, aren't they?
really expensive. It took me
Yeah.
2.5 months to find somebody at AT&T who would tell me that they actually still do it. And then when it came down to it, it's gonna be about 10 grand to get one in here. And
Sheesh.
the upkeep is like 350, 400 something bucks a month.
Source
After,
Connect.
yeah,
Source Connect.
IPDTL is they have different levels. There's a telephone only one. There's whatever, but I think I pay $100 a month or 110 a month for a dedicated ISDN line,
Okay.
and I use it for my phone patch stuff too because I just set up a laptop, dump it into an old audio interface into my mixer,
Okay.
and it works great for all that.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Okay. So it's,
but
I mean, I've never delved into the ISDN, and I mean, I use Source Connect. And what's so funny is we were talking before we came on about people just wanting to do live directed sessions over Skype,
yeah,
which literally I've done more sessions on Skype
yeah,
than I've done on Source Connect, because it's easier on the client side
yeah.
for
It is.
them to just do, just like we're doing Skype right now. I mean,
Yeah. I
so
think
it's,
I think ISDN existed when you couldn't email your files over
okay.
instantaneously. You had this old system to where you had these digital lines and we needed to record. So if my talent is here, or your talent was here in LA and we
Hmm.
were recording in your studio over ISDN, that was a necessity then.
Okay.
It's not a necessity now where I mean I can record here as soon as we're done, I email you, and even if it's too big and I send it WeTransfer or something
Right.
like,
Yep. Love WeTransfer. Use it every day.
you get it in minutes.
Yeah.
So and even so much so quick that you can open it up, pull up a new session, put it in there, listen to it, and make notes, and then we can do it again. Like it's not a
Exactly.
necessity. I think those are the two reasons why I think ISDN will eventually go away.
Mhm.
However, I went to that studio for that interview a year ago that sort of sparked this idea to get this place going,
Okay.
and they had a bunch of ISDN codecs. But again, they're sort
Wow.
of that old world,
Well,
they're
they've probably been around for over 2 decades too, so they
that
had to go through having that. So
they
they have
did,
it.
and they have those clients. You know, they're doing commercials for the Olympics and stuff like that.
Wow.
I'm I'm trying to hustle regional ads. you
Yeah.
know, there's
Yeah.
it's a level, but there's all that kind of business.
Absolutely. I mean, with the stuff that you're doing there and the type of clientele that you're getting, going back to the voice actor side,
Uh-huh.
is there something that during the time in 10 weeks basically that you've been there doing this, is there something that you see as a pattern of new voice actors coming in that you always have to address? Are you noticing anything like that as of yet?
Not really.
Hmm.
Being in LA, most of them are actors already. Uh,
Ah, yeah.
so they're looking to diversify or grow or try out something that they haven't had.
Okay.
So every now and then, like we have our 5 week intensive course, we have
Hmm.
one of the 6 students is actually he's a water pump salesman. He's never acted, he's never played an instrument, he doesn't
Wow.
come from any sort of entertainment side. He just wants to get into voice acting. That's the first one that we've had that's come through the doors in the 2.5 months that we've been here. Although it's not the first student or person that we've
Okay.
had over the course of doing these things. Sometimes that's fun because they don't have any preconceived notions of who they are as an
Yeah.
actor. Um, the most interesting one is always the musical theater ones,
Really?
because they're trained in their voice, but they're trained to talk to people back there in the
Okay.
audience. They get into the booth and they start projecting like, "Hey, you can
Hey,
be. It's
the
right here.
mic's
Like,
right here, dude. It's like
this."
6 inches from your face.
Yeah. But once you can tame that down, they're super awesome at it because they understand the ups and downs and peaks and valleys, and even it's interesting to watch. Sometimes it's hard to coach people that
No.
there's an 8 word script. 5 of those words are new Verizon cell package or whatever. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
four words. But and they're like, make it more, more quiet. And like
Yeah.
what do you mean more quiet? Like and I still have to tag the tag that's three-quarters of the script. It's hard to do that. You know that.
I mean, I've wanted to scratch my eyeballs out
Yeah.
sometimes. You know, I mean, it's just real. I mean, you're a coach or whatever, and you're trying to coach someone through a read, and you know, you're like, the new iPhone 10, you know, coming tomorrow,
Yeah.
and you know, so that's how like I would say it. But then they'll say, the new iPhone 10 coming tomorrow. I'm like, can you make that a little bit more conversational, you know,
Yeah.
and that give it another try.
Fine.
The iPhone 10 coming tomorrow. I'm like,
Stop reading it. Yeah.
I said, can we speed that up a bit? The iPhone 10. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, rip the headphones off, you know, and just
I mean, we're like in LA, we're pretty lucky in the fact that most people do have some sort of acting background
sure.
or have some sort of training in the way of theater or on camera or something. So yeah, I mean we've been pretty lucky to actually have some like people who are on current running shows and stuff come through, and it's
Wow.
pretty
Are you see that's
cool.
that is amazing
Yeah.
that happens. And I mean, so I'm sure there'll be plenty more times. I mean, you're only 10 weeks in, but you're going to be
Yeah.
starstruck more than a couple of times a year,
Oh,
you know,
for sure.
hopefully with
Hopefully,
folks
yeah.
coming in and that word of mouth getting out. I'm just super excited because that takes some balls to start this in LA. I'm sorry. That just really, it's like, you know what? I need to move from here. Like, I'm glad I'm in Milwaukee in the Midwest. It's like, you know, I can own it. But if I was in LA, I'd be like, how in the crap am I going to do this here?
I mean, I have no idea. I don't know. Yeah. But I realize nobody knows what they're doing. Like it's just
You're right. You're right about that.
I know how to put together good recordings. We've been doing demos for 6 years now, I
Okay.
guess. So I don't know, that side of it was nice. I've always wanted to own a recording studio. I never in a million years thought it would be a voiceover studio. It's that's just work that kept coming to me, and I really
Yeah.
enjoy it. And I love the people. And it's funny because working inside of music, and I hustled working music, and I still have some mixing clients that I work
Mhm.
with and stuff. But there's a lot of ego and a lot of pretense sometimes inside of music.
You don't
That's
say.
I mean, it's not that it's absent in voiceover, but there definitely is a little bit of more of a humbleness to people coming through the doors so far. I mean, maybe we're not doing those bigger sessions yet, you know,
Okay.
but we've had pretty small instances of people who are, you know, a little too big-headed,
I get
which
it.
which is great being in LA, you know.
Yeah. I'm sitting here. I just pulled up my your Instagram on my phone. Um, you have an impressive looking space.
Oh,
It is
thanks, man.
it is extremely impressive. And I'm looking like, how does this guy afford this? You know, it's like
Well, to be honest, I mean,
it's pretty. I mean, it's a pretty space. I mean, sorry to say pretty, but I didn't know what else to
no,
say.
no,
It's
yeah,
really pretty.
thanks, man.
You know, with that, it's impressive. How can people find you on Instagram? I want people to check out your Instagram page.
Real Voice LA.
It's just at Real Voice LA.
Yeah, at Real Voice LA. I
Okay.
think that's across the board: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Now, I'm noticing. I'm scrolling through your IG right now.
Hmm.
All right, so you like the shotgun mic?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm
I don't know.
I'm seeing all these shotgun mics.
Yeah.
So
I got to take a picture of something like twice a day.
yeah, you know, well, yeah, doing what we do, you got to post something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird. Coming as an engineer, if I find the shotgun mic very odd that's what voiceover has leaned towards.
I still use. I mean, I've got a shotgun, but I stick to my TLM 103.
Yeah, the TLM 103. I mean, I think the other industry standard is the U87.
Yep.
I think that's a little more well suited for voiceover.
It's a little bit more money too, but
It's 3.5 times the amount of money.
Yeah.
That's where I think there's two mics that come into play when you're doing voiceover. There's the U87 or something like that.
Hmm.
And then there's the 416, which is the
Right.
shotgun mic, which
Right.
is 1,000 instead of $3,500.
Yeah.
I think there was from what I can tell, like the old way of doing things was U87 for voiceover, 416 for ADR.
Okay.
And I think everybody just started using the 416 because A, it's cheaper, B, it's a little more forgiving. You can be off mic a little more.
Hmm.
So I think everybody just started using it. I mean, I think there's tons of mics that should be in the conversation. The Manley Reference C is a great one.
Okay.
But that's a $3,000 mic. But in the like $1,600 range, Perlman makes a great mic. The Telefunken AR51 is an amazing mic at like $1,800.
Okay.
However, there's microphones like I've seen you with an RE20,
Yeah, I'm
right?
using an RE320. I use an RE320 to broadcast with.
The RE20s are great, and the
Yeah.
Shure SM7 is amazing too.
Yeah.
Those are both like $300 microphones. My wife uses an SM7 constantly, and the thing
Wow.
about SM7 is that I like to tell people is that Quincy Jones chose that microphone for Michael Jackson to record Thriller with.
Wait a minute. Are you kidding me?
100%. That is
Oh
a
my gosh. So for all of you folks, and I just had a SM7 question earlier today, and I
Yeah.
was like, you're stressing too much over the mic, dude. Just, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Look,
Now you're using the same freaking mic as the king. You know?
arguably one of the biggest records ever recorded.
Yeah, biggest out. Yeah, exactly.
If it was good enough for Quincy and Michael, I'm sure it's going to be good enough for your e-learning video.
Yeah, you're right. I love it. Oh my
Crazy.
gosh.
That's the thing, like those microphones are meant for voice.
Yeah.
They're just not $3,000, and they are constructed a little bit differently or whatever. But honestly, an RE20 and an SM7, if you're going to be recording at home, they're
Mhm.
dynamic microphones, so they don't pick up a lot of external noise.
Exactly. That's the good thing about it.
Noisy apartment, that might be a better choice for you than a
A condenser. Than a condenser
Yeah.
mic, because the condenser is much less forgiving. It's
Oh,
going
yeah.
to pick up more. And I tell
Yep.
everybody, this $300 mic that I'm broadcasting with right now was my voiceover mic for years
Yeah.
before I upgraded. But people want to think, well, I need a better mic and I'll get more work. No. You get more work, then you get a better mic. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think also people obsess on the gear a little bit too much, and
Uh-huh.
they always want to think like, well, I need this. Like most people don't understand the recording equipment is something you grow with. Most recording studios,
Mhm.
by the time you're there, even if they're like for me, even though we're brand new, I would consider this my 5th or 6th generation recording equipment. You know what I mean? Like I
Okay.
didn't start out having gear like this.
No.
There's no way. I bought what I could afford, and I hustled and made a little more money and traded out this piece and traded
That's
out
it.
this piece and kept growing and kept growing. And like most people don't. It's unless you're trying to be a recording studio. Like don't worry about that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. It's, man. Okay.
Money's more well spent on classes than it is on a $3,000 converter. you know?
Exactly. Get the knowledge that you need to get so that you can go and do this. If you're just trying to do it on your own, no one does that.
No.
Anyway, we can talk ad nauseum about that. I'm still stuck back on the Quincy Jones stuff with Michael Jackson and recording
So
Thriller
good.
on an SM7B microphone. It's almost like, man, I just need to go get one of those mics now. And just,
So if you've listened to any rock and roll male singer, there's a good chance that at least some of the record was made with them. It's definitely like a rock and roll, like hard rock male vocalist like thing. So
all right, guys, go get your SM71Bs. Call it a
Yeah.
day. You know, for your home
it's
studio.
not the only record we've heard with that microphone. It's definitely it's pretty present in a lot of big studios. It's one of those things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Mike, this has been great. First of all, I just want to thank you for taking the time out to
Yeah,
just come
thank
in
you.
and talk to us and let us know what it is that you're doing. I definitely want to encourage everyone that has ever listened to me. If you're out in LA or in that area, you got to go into Real Voice LA. Check out realvoicela.com. Is there any other thing you want to say in regards to how people should connect with you, or you want them to connect with you?
That's pretty much it. You told them all the
Okay.
follow me on Instagram.
There you go. I keep trying to get more and more followers on Instagram, but since I've put my foot in the ground here on YouTube, everybody just is on YouTube. It's like trying to get them. Will you go just follow? It's like I don't even have Instagram on my phone. I'm like, how old are you?
It
But
just I think it matters. I think just do what you do because we're not really on
yeah,
YouTube either. So it just I think whatever works for you, work
yeah,
it.
definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely. I mean, because I mean, I'm just a handsome guy. I need to be on video,
absolutely.
but
Your mug and my feed. That's like, ooh, there's
oh
Earl.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, look, Mike, we're going to be in touch most definitely. But
For
I
sure.
do thank you for taking the time
Thank
to
you.
be on with us today, and I'm sure you'll be back on again. And look, if there's anything I can do for you, please don't hesitate to ask.
Absolutely.
You
Same
know,
here.
conversation, whatever. Sometimes we just need to bounce things off of each other from time to time. That understand sitting in these seats that we sit in because it's hard,
Absolutely.
you know. But
Absolutely.
once again, thanks a lot. I'll probably give you a call maybe tomorrow or something like that. But
Sounds
we'll take it from there. But you have a good day, Mike. Thanks a lot for being here with us.
awesome. Thanks, Earl.
All right, bye now.
Bye.